In this video, I'm going to share with you how mastering good public speaking can actually boost your confidence as it enhances your mental strength in leadership. Did you know that comfort in addressing people outwardly can actually make you mentally stronger as a leader? Think of the moments where you've been passed over in meetings and you are busy trying to organize your thoughts, you're busy trying to organize your words, and you knew that your contribution held a solution, but you were taking too long and not everybody had that kind of patience. Or the moments where you've gone blank right in the middle of a presentation and now you feel like you are on the blacklist of people to not be considered for speaking engagements during company events. And as it is, no one is even soliciting you anymore. These are situations that can actually eat into your confidence and sometimes leave irreversible wounds. So we're going to address it here once and for all. And by the end of this video, you're going to have exactly 4 practical ways through which you can overcome your fears, be able to speak on demand in the right headspace, no matter your audience. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nancy, and if we are meeting for the very first time, this is the place where you'll find me mostly discussing topics on matters leadership, professional growth, and career advancement. So if it's the kind of content that resonates with you, kindly consider subscribing and pressing the bell, and you will be notified every time I release a new video. I'm also very, very excited to welcome my new subscribers to this workplace leadership community. You know, initially, it was just a burning desire for me to share the growth tips that made my life in the corporate world worth it. But now the community is growing and I'm feeling all sorts of honored. Your support, your commitment, your engagement through your comments, through your suggestions, all this go a long way in growing this community. So thank you. If the thought of speaking in public fills you with dread and unnecessary anxiety, you're not alone. 75% of people have been cited to experience the fear of public speaking, technically known as glossophobia, which in some cases is even more prevalent than the fear of creepy crawlies, things like caterpillars, or the fear of heights, closed air spaces. But what if I told you that you can actually use public speaking to reinforce your mental strength and become more relaxed as a speaker? Just look closely and you're going to see that public speaking is not only crucial for leadership, but it is also important for personal growth. And for a little over a year now, I've been working with leaders in different fields, just like you, if my videos actually speak to you, and some were waiting to be promoted when they joined the program. So we work together to level up your confidence in your craft, then level up your career as you leverage your mental strength. And this is a very strategic step-by-step method that actually gives you room to be yourself in and out of office without feeling mentally and physically exhausted. Mental and emotional preparedness in leadership as a topic is very, very close to my heart. I'm that girl who stepped into leadership a bit carefree and even too excited to worry about tomorrow. And it took a matter of days to realize that I was neither emotionally nor mentally prepared for the task I had signed up for. So the whole process of converting the theory, everything that I had been taught on how to lead effectively to the practical, which was on-the-job training, was a major boot camp for me. But I needed to go through it to grow up and also to survive as a leader. And there was that separation process from my previous role where we always had someone to answer to, and if anything went wrong, it was on them to mitigate the problem. So they were like an umbrella for us. Now I was here. The umbrella had been lifted. More responsibility had been added to my plate. Of course, there was that beautiful spike in my bank balance, and this meant serious accountability on my part. So at a personal level, it was quite an emotional journey, very, very lonely at times. But these are the seasons that I was learning that emotional wellness of those in leadership is just as important as that of those they lead. So these videos that you see me releasing every single week are my way of saying that you can use some of the lessons that I learned as a pick-me-up if you ever find yourself in a similar dilemma, especially if you're considering taking up a leadership role, or if you are already in one and are experiencing some of the things that I talk about. So for the better part of this video, we are going to dive a layer deeper into the surprising link between public speaking and mental toughness. Whether you're a seasoned professional or you're just starting out, speaking in front of people challenges you in ways that almost feel beyond your control, especially if the fear is tangible. And in one of my videos, I've spoken about how public speaking can actually boost your confidence as a leader. I'll just leave the link in the description box just in case you want to have a look. I want to dial down on how public speaking can rewire your mind to handle challenges and the actionable tips that you can use to grow mentally stronger. You're probably asking yourself, how will I even know that poor public speaking is eating into my mental health? Well, chronic anxiety. Do you experience nervousness, dread, days or even weeks before your presentation, and you find yourself sweating, you find yourself shaking, you find yourself nauseated, you find yourself with a racing heart well beyond the normal preparation jitters? Chronic anxiety can actually take a toll on your mental health. When you find yourself worried that you're going to be judged harshly or you're going to make unforgettable mistakes and no amount of preparation is going to deliver you. These are feelings that can actually lead to burnout, over-preparing, low self-esteem, or even complete avoidance of opportunities that are going to require you to speak in front of people. And we've seen in some of my videos that with leadership, public speaking is a basic necessity, if you allow me to put it that way. Or maybe yours is the case of over-analysis, what my mentor calls analysis paralysis, perfectionism, self-criticism. You're constantly replaying the speech in your mind, but your focus is on the mistakes that you will make, the words that you're going to mispronounce. You even subconsciously decided that you should make those mistakes. So in your mind, your performance is never good enough, regardless of the positive feedback that you've been receiving in the past, constantly and consistently. That case of extreme imposter syndrome where you've not fully embraced the fact that you deserve to be in that role. You have earned it, and you have also earned the right to address that audience. So you keep rehearsing, but it doesn't feel like you are doing enough. Unrealistic expectations and very harsh criticism can actually erode your self-confidence, contributing to feelings of inadequacy and even depressive episodes over time. Or maybe let's just look at emotional exhaustion after speaking. So from experience, would you say that you're the kind of person who feels completely drained, irritable, or overly sensitive after a presentation, big or small, and there's just that crush that leaves you withdrawn emotionally from everybody else after giving your all in preparation and presentation? Emotional exhaustion is a signal that your mental and emotional resources are being overtaxed, they're being overstretched, and this can lead to chronic stress and negative association, that strong aversion to public speaking, such that when the thought comes to mind, your body just goes into protective mode, moving away from a situation that it considers a threat. Let's just take a moment and look at the correlation between confidence and mental health. At its core, public speaking is about putting yourself out there. Whether you have an audience of 2 or you have an audience of 2,000, you're addressing people who may or may not necessarily have affinity with you. And that can be terrifying for most people. But now look at it this way. Every time you face that fear, you up and you push through it, you're actually stepping on the other side and your brain is rewiring itself. You're spending time in preparation. You're doing the pep talks. You're acknowledging that hard as it might look, you have what it takes to confront hard situations. That positive affirmation that you can do hard things, repeated long enough, can actually become part of your mental foundation, making you more confident in other areas of your life. So I don't know if you've heard my story, but if you have, you know that I'm forever grateful for starting my career in the aviation industry as a cabin crew. Here, there were no two ways around public speaking right from the selection process. And this was specifically because while on the job, you could easily find yourself on board with someone on a business trip, And a couple just married traveling to their honeymoon destination. Someone maybe still in the same flight going to pay their last respects to a departed family member, or a minor who was actually to be picked on the other side by the guardian, or a deportee sitting in one corner. And the moment you took to the public address system, whoever heard your voice had to feel safe, welcomed, and valued. So yes, you needed to nail public speaking before being allowed to even handle one client. And I'm totally convinced that this is a must-have for all careers where you deal directly with people. In our case, it was mandatory, for safety purposes, for quality control, for customer experience, for security checks. And during training, we were doing it whether we were shaking, whether we were fumbling here and there, whether we were reading script word for word, until we became one with the process before addressing the real audience with real customers, our knees shaking or not. But then you come to realize that you survive the first day, then you survive the next and the next. And now you look forward to making those announcements because everything has taken root, everything has fallen into place. It feels natural. Clients feel reassured just by listening to you. Speaking in front of passengers literally helped most of us confront our anxieties and even reinforced our belief in internal stability. And this is a key element in strengthening your emotional control. Confidence is simply repeated success in facing fears. Public speaking can also rewire your mindset for resilience. Just a fun fact. When you speak up, you're pushed away from your comfort zone. So during preparation, you know that things can and might go wrong, whether it's the slides that are just going to refuse to cooperate at the wrong time, or you go blank, as earlier mentioned, or you get just that one tough and unexpected question and the fumbling just comes back rushing. You want to bounce back from such setbacks, but with grace. So learning how to handle these curveballs is going to strengthen your adaptability and even teach you how to stay calm under pressure. The moment you accept that something is going to go wrong, but it's part of the process. You may receive constructive criticism. It might hurt a little, but that is also part of the process. The fear is going to reduce and the adaptability is going to increase. And you're going to notice that the more exposed you are to public speaking, the more the stress is going to reduce. And with time, you will have a stronger baseline for handling pressure. Studies have actually been performed that show that public speaking reduces your threat response over time. So in other words, whatever it is that felt like a crisis before just becomes another challenge, and that's mental toughness in action. Think of the moments where you've actually forgotten the sections of your speech, but you kept on going, you kept on pushing, and then you found out later that people did not even notice. You are the only one who did because you're the only one who had the script. Such mistakes are opportunities that help you to grow. And the plan is to get to a state of improved focus and clarity under stress. And this is going to come with being self-aware, being able to regulate your emotions on demand. So having looked at how important it is to have the right mental setup through good public speaking, I have these 4 strategies that you can use to leverage public speaking for mental health and mental strength. Personally, I call it the 4 P's of public speaking for mental health and strength. At number 1, plan ahead. And this means putting on paper all the details of how you intend to run the presentation. How long would you like it to last? What comes first? And in what sequence would you like it to flow? If in the past you probably struggled in some areas than others, this is where you want to put those areas under the magnifying glass and work on them one at a time. Proper preparation is going to dilute most of your anxiety because you're going to be showing up from a position of anticipation for what could actually go wrong, then addressing it in advance. And this is where research is key. Are you being asked to speak on a subject that you do not have sufficient information on? So doing proper research is going to give you the confidence that you have left no stone unturned. And your audience will almost always tell if you put in the time and the effort in preparation before addressing them. This is also the time that you want to be extremely honest with yourself, the areas that you can actually work on, and then commit to going over and above your previous presentations. And where you feel blocked, despite all your preparations, get help, be it from a mentor or a community or even someone or a group that have actually dealt with similar situations in the past and made it through to the other side. The more you become a student in your areas of weakness, the faster the expertise in you is going to be revealed. This is just food for thought, Then at number 2, position yourself with poise. So now that you have done the proper planning and you have put every foreseeable situation under control, you want to embody that persona. And this is where practice comes in. You want to rehearse as though it was the real thing. You want to practice like you're actually standing in front of the real group, like it's the actual day, so that you can become one with your presentation. Start small, in low-stakes settings, like in front of your trusted friends or in front of your trusted colleagues before considering the larger groups. Any feedback that you get from here is going to be fodder for getting better. Then position yourself in such a way that you can be speaking up in meetings, in small events where it's less overwhelming, the ground feels familiar, so that you can actually wet your feet. And this is also a good time to become your biggest critic. What areas do you feel like you have improved on as far as your preparation in planning is concerned? Did you notice a positive or negative reaction from your audience? And this is about looking at the body language. How did you mitigate it? Were they happy to offer feedback, or were they more reserved? In all this, you want to track your improvements rather than aiming for perfection. So let your focus be on the progress. Every speech, every presentation is a chance to get better and not a test that you have to ace. And then you want to notice how you feel mentally after positively responding to feedback, positive or negative. At number 3, power through to the finish line. So you have planned ahead, you have practiced your presentation with the relevant groups, and now you have to deliver it to the wider audience. It is D-Day. And this is where learning how to manage your nerves is going to come in handy. And I've heard someone say that excitement and anxiety come with the same energy. Flip the anxiety and tell yourself just how excited you are that you are giving this presentation, and your mind is going to pick it, and you'll have a happier vibe going into the presentation. You just want to focus more on the message and how you want the receiver of that message to feel at the end of your presentation. Anxiety, for the most part, builds up when your focus is on the messenger, and that is you. Did I wear my makeup right? Is the lighting working against me? Have they noticed my outfit? All that. It's not about you. It's about the message that you carry. You also want to think of the techniques that you have used in the past to calm down your nerves that actually worked, and apply them. Though most of the time, if you just remove yourself from the equation, remove yourself from the picture, you're going to find that you're more committed to serving the presentation right. And this is going to give you momentum to power through to the finish line. You're also going to notice that your mental strength is growing with each and every presentation and speaking engagement. At number 4, you want to pat yourself on the back. Getting through to the finish line is a win worth celebrating. People are going to cheer you on, but it is you who knows the process it took, the nerves that you had to overcome, the audiences that you had to seek and solicit for constructive feedback, and all the work that you had to do behind the scenes so that your presentation was seamless. So you find that you have pushed yourself out of your comfort zone. Growth has definitely happened, and this is worth celebrating. So this is also a good time to ask for feedback from those who are present right from the preparation season. You want to know the major improvements that you've made so that you can keep refining yourself, and the areas that you still need to work on so that you can prepare yourself for the next opportunity. And this kind of feedback is going to help you to build emotional resilience. So you can see that public speaking does way more than improve your communication skills. It makes you mentally stronger. It builds your confidence. It strengthens your resilience. It teaches you how to thrive under pressure. So the next time you're asked to speak, just say Yes. Take the opportunity, take the challenge, and you'll see that your mind is going to come along and it's going to play in a larger way to minimize any anxiety related to public speaking. If you found this video helpful and you haven't subscribed yet, kindly consider subscribing and pressing the notification bell for more workplace leadership tips just like this one. And let me know in the comments, what's your biggest challenge when it comes to public speaking? This is a conversation that I'd love to share with you, and if possible, even tackle it together. Sometimes it just takes that one element, that one aspect to unlock all the other aspects of your career. So let me know where you stand and see you on the next one. Bye.